Welcome back. We are now officially halfway through the month, January 15th, right now. And today we're talking about the energetics of what it means to really have a big versus small life. I think we hear these kind of ideas tossed around a lot, and I love to go deep into ideas that are kind of commonplace in lingo, in conversations, and quotations, and take them to a deeper level of what that can actually mean for your life. Because we think of like play big or go big or, take the big risks, right? We talk about the big, go big. And then the verses is the small, right? Stop playing so small, stop shrinking your needs. These conversations about like this idea of big as bold and risky and doing something totally crazy or doing something kind of out of character that nobody would expect from you, and then having a small life would be shrinking and just being this little version of self, right? And these things can be true. These ideas of big versus small can be true, but also what what is there beyond it? There's the level of that, those kind of superficial conversations we have around it. Then there's the next level of understanding what, and I'm trying to get as close to the mic as possible because I've been told I'm a little quiet on some of these videos. So the next definition would be the surface level that we often think of, which is, okay, my big life would be I have a big house with all the travel and a private jet and I have all the money, and a small life would be, just staying in the same apartment that I've always been in. And then we go to that level of looking at it as an external thing that life will show us externally that we have a big versus small life, that we've achieved things, that we've accomplished things. And that definition kind of wove its way into my understanding, or some of the things I did years ago of trying to become successful or do the things that I thought were the right things to do in order to get the big life or to have your best life. But I've realized that while the external can reflect the internal changes that can happen with a big versus small existence in space and time, it's not always those things that are reflected from that. So I've taken this in my contemplation a little bit deeper. And I'm curious if anybody listened yesterday, because yesterday I took a pause, I did a reading, I gave you space to personally contemplate what this actually means for you. And I'm wondering if anybody did that. Leave a comment below. If you haven't watched that video, you're welcome to watch this, but also you could stop this and go back and listen to yesterday and then come back to the replay of this, because I think it is important for us to have a concept internally of what we are already coming into the conversation with, of thinking about big versus small life and what it means for you. So when it comes to the idea of big versus small, I really think it has to do with our capacity and quality of being. And the quality of being as defined in the way that we have been defining it in my year of being the essence of who you are, really being in that center, your soul, the things, following your intuition, the quality of that being, that state of being, the following the things you know are right, the saying yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no, and maybe later, right? Not yet. Understanding where these ring true for you and when they can really come forward and really be in your truest voice. So that'd be the quality of your being, but also your capacity. So I even look at the capacity, like let's say the capacity, your capacity to hold things is this mug here. And I have just a little bit of my chai tea left, which I'm gonna take a sip of. But let's say your current capacity for holding things. Now, capacity can be best explained in terms of what you feel comfortable and capable of taking on, the amount of pressure you can take on, the amount of money you feel is comfortable for you to have, right? Everybody likes to say, oh, yes, I would absolutely love if I won the lottery and had all that money, I would be totally comfortable with it. But the truth is, most lottery winners end up bankrupt because they haven't grown a capacity to hold that amount of money. It's like, it's the idea that if we say are being love bombed and we don't have the capacity, maybe love bombing is not the best example, but we meet somebody that is just so flourishing with love and compliments and all of these nice things, and we're not used to that. Like, we say had been in bad relationships where people hadn't been treating us very nice, and someone's treating us so nice and so, it's coming from the purest, sweetest, loving place, and then our bodies literally feel like, oh my gosh, like, what are they doing? Like, could this even be true? Like, this feels really uncomfortable to me, right? It's those edges of what we're capable of holding. Like, this mug can only hold so much liquid in here, cannot hold more. It would just pour over the sides. And so we've all have these built-in capacities. And if you're not sure what your capacity is, look at what's around in your life, right? Your capacity is reflected. What does that bank account have? What does your partner like? What are your friendships like? What is the job you're in? Have you gone to the place you want to in your career, or are you staying in the same place? Have you promised yourself to try things, but you physically feel like, oh, I want that, but I couldn't actually feel comfortable with that. Those are the markers of your capacity. And so within our lives, we have this current state. And when we're playing small, we know that we have the ability to fill up this entire cup with our quality of being, right? Of saying the yeses and saying the nos and being creative and doing the things we want to do and moving in the directions we want to move in. I'm having a bad allergy attack today. And moving in those directions, right, that we really feel is right for us to go. And we can build it up to fill this entire cup up, but we can't go beyond this capacity. Excuse me. When we're playing small or living a small life or not living up to our potential or shrinking our needs, that's exactly what's happening. We energetically know we could expand bigger, but we're voicing our needs maybe to our partner and they're saying, I can't do that, but then we still stay in that same relationship, or we still just make it, oh, well, don't worry about it. I don't really need that anyways. Or we've been wanting to apply to a different job for so long, but instead of applying to a different job, we just stay in the same toxic work environment, right? That's shrinking our own needs. It's shrinking our own quality of being, our essence, right? The essence, our ability to expand and have more light, because the universe, creator, God, Mother Nature is giving you an amount of light that you can expand into. And at some point, we start to take the steps to fill up our cup. So a big life looks like, yes, we've filled our cup up. We're so full of ourselves. It's fascinating to me that being full of ourselves is something that is considered wrong. There's a lot of things that we kind of shame that in the right energetics can be a really powerful thing. And one of those things is being full of yourself, not being egotistically overcompensating for not feeling good enough, but literally filling yourself up with your energy, your light. You're removing yourself from situations that don't feel serving to you. You are allowing you literally to fill up with all of the light of your being, right? All of those things. That's being full of yourself, and that shines, that that shows up to other people, that is something that is palpable and you can feel, and you know when you're around somebody that has expanded into their presence, into their light. You can almost taste it. It's like wow. There's been times I have been around people and I continue to expand and expand, but there's been times I've been around people that the quality of their being, their light is so, I mean, it is so intense that it has made me stop and think like, where else can I expand? Because holy crap, like that was an intense experience being around somebody so hyper present. It's almost intimidating. It can be intimidating because there's not this, they don't have the space for playing small or for putting themselves in rooms and spaces that aren't true to them. They're living in a coherence with who they are. And then here's the thing. This is the fun part about then creating a truly big life. Then sometimes the cup becomes too small. We filled this cup up, and then we start to feel the pressure of expansion. Expansion is pressure. It is, we can feel that like we have more to give. We've filled up this cup and we are being asked to expand further. And that's the invitation to expand our capacity, right? We sometimes can do that in the spaces and places that we currently are. We just have to examine the things that are within our own head that are keeping us back. And sometimes it means we're like a plant that needs a new pot, that we actually can't expand any further in the space and place that we currently are. Space and place can be physical places, it could be where you're living, it could be your actual home, it could be the city, it could be your relationship, it could be your job, it could be the roles that you're taking on, right? It can mean a lot of different things. It can be the things that you've been saying no to that you really need to say yes to. It's saying that sometimes we can expand where we are, and sometimes we need to put ourselves into a different pot. We need to plant our seeds in different soil because we've been watering this freaking plant in the same freaking pot, and it is big and it is bold and it is tired and not being nourished anymore actually in the pot that it's in. So the big life literally can come from not just now feeling into the places where we can expand in our current environment, but it can be expanding that capacity and then filling that up and holding the pressure again of the expansion to the larger capacity, right? That's a big life. That's being full of yourself. That's being true to your being. That's the quality of your being. It's the expanded state of your capacity and filling that up and filling it up and continuing to grow a larger life, right? And so if you look at that from an energetic perspective, that has nothing to do with a specific set of external circumstances. Sure, one could say that we live in an abundant world and that the universe, creator, Mother Nature, God wants us to be living in a state of abundance, right? I can agree with that. I agree with that belief. So maybe it does mean abundance. Maybe it does mean love, because love is the purest form of anything in this world. Maybe it means having more love. But the way those things show up is not a specific set of circumstances for everybody. It's not this mirror reflecting out into everybody now has a Lamborghini, right? Or the mirror reflecting out that everybody has a 6'2", tall, dark, and handsome, 6-figure salary man, or whatever people are chasing these days, right? I don't know. It's not my definition, right? But the idea that like when we solely focus on our limited ability to see what is possible for our lives, when we exclusively focus on the external circumstances that we need to change right now, that have to change, instead of turning inward and finding that point of quality of being, of coherence, of where our capacity has hit its edges, where we need to replant ourselves, we focus on the wrong thing, because we're not going to get more money by saying I want more money and not working on anything internally and not clearing the path that has stopped you from ever going past whatever $50,000 a year or whatever it happens to be. That's your capacity. And just demanding from the universe to have more is not the path. Right? It is an internal game. In, out, right? And the other part of it is when you start playing to expanding your capacity and to building a bigger life from this energetic perspective, that invites things in the what if category. We talked about the what if, the what if questions the other day. That's where the what if playing starts to come in. Because if this is where I am right now, and I expand into a bowl, well, I don't even know what the possibilities are in that bowl. I've never been in a bowl before. I've never had that much direction from myself, from the universe, from, being able to help people in that expanded way. And having that many people around and having that much success in the way we did. I've not been that person before. So how could I possibly, with my limited ability to see in this moment, even have any clue what going from this mug to a bowl would do for me? Much less replanting yourself entirely into a completely different space and place. Right? You can recognize that you want deep love. You can have ideas of, I really want that special person in my life. I want my partner. I want my soulmate I've been looking for so long. You can recognize that that's a desire of you. But if you have not expanded your capacity to hold the love that you desire, then it's like it literally has no place to go. You could meet that person and push them away because you haven't created the space to actually hold what you are receiving. Right? And it's a capacity to receive. And your capacity to receive also increases your capacity to give, increases the space you're able to take with people, increases if you are being in the space with yourself where you are being so tapped in, turned in, tuned on, I think that's how you say it, to the essence of what the creator and the life is calling for you. Like, imagine the person that emanates from there. Imagine being the person that is so hyper present that it makes people pause and say, wow. And not in a way of shaming and if they do, that's on their limited ability to see, but just in this place of, it's an invitation, right? We don't get to tell people how to live their lives. I don't get to affect change in other people by just showing up and saying some words to you. This is a inner game. This is an inner conversation. This is me living, eating, breathing this conversation. I don't just wake up and decide, well, I'm just going to say a couple things on live today and that'll be it. Some of these conversations I bring have been contemplations for days, months, years. They've been questions I've been asking the universe for a really long time. There are pieces where piece after piece after piece after piece came in slowly, 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 and then I got stuck and I couldn't figure out, what does this even mean? How do I even express this idea to people? Right? This is my outpouring from my expanded capacity, from the full bowl of love, of knowledge, of introspection, of desire to really be able to, really be able to speak to you and have you pause for a moment and maybe start your own contemplation or maybe make your own moves. Because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to be stuck. I know what it feels like to be in the void. I know what it feels like to be in the wrong place. I know what it feels like to feel like you can't move from where you're at. I know what it feels like to not be able to believe in yourself quite yet. I know what it feels like for you to not be able to move. I know what it feels like to have feeling like you stumbled backwards and now you got to go forwards again. I know what it feels like to have the shame. I know what it feels like to have the guilt. I know what it feels like to feel disappointed in myself. And I continue to grow and to learn and to be with each part of myself in these things so that I can bring this here and hopefully help somebody else. I'm going to leave this conversation here because I'm already at 22 minutes because I got into the vibe here. I want to remind you that I am offering my one-to-one sessions for a third of the normal price, which is just, it's a gift to you. I want to be able to have as many people as possible experience a conversation where we can talk about this, where I can see where you might have a blind spot or that thing that is actually holding you back to expand your capacity, is holding you back from the thing that you want, because a lot of times we can't see our own blocks. We can't see the thing that we've been kind of churning with for the last several years, right? I'm here to invite you into a one-on-one hour-long session just so that I can have my eyes on you, on what's going on with you, on one particular issue, and unlock something for you to be able to take with you into this year, into your life. Because it's about me, it's about you, and it's about the world. Because the more we evolve, the more we all take time to actually introspect and to understand these parts of ourselves, the less damage we're doing in the world, the less toxicity is being brought out. Excuse me. You know, the less unexamined anger is out there in the world. The more people are full of themselves instead of shrinking themselves in the cup when the universe is inviting them to fill up and to expand out. We all have gifts for the world. We all have things that we are being asked to bring. It looks different for every single person, but we are being asked. And so I invite you into this one-on-one session. I'll drop a link below. If you feel called to it, amazing. If you're feeling that pressure for expansion, amazing. If you're feeling like you've been playing small, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. The price is $99 until the 19th, and then it will go up by $100 for another month, and then it will go back to its normal price. So wherever you feel called, and there will be several different offerings too that I'm offering this year that are longer term packages with me, but I can always roll one into the other, right? So if you feel called to this, let's hop on a call. And if this incited anything in you, if this conversation brought anything up for you, I invite you to comment, to DM me. I would love to hear from my listeners, from anybody who's out there and in this year of being with me. I hope you have a beautiful night. I'm going to go take some allergy medicine, and much love.